Hey, spooky freaks.
If you guys like videos about hauntings, ghosts, paranormal, anything spooky, folklore, y'all should totally press on that subscribe button because we are the ones for you.
Yep, on every Friday or every other Friday.
Yes. And today we're doing a video on Riverdale Road.
Yes.
It's a road that goes from Brighton to Thornton.
It's a 11-mile stretch that runs through those two. And it is allegedly haunted.
We've had a lot of our experiences, so stay tuned to the end for that one.
Yeah, at the end, we're going to share our personal, really scary experience that we had on that road, a few years ago. So stick to the end to actually hear that story, because trust me, you don't want to fucking miss that.
No.
So yeah, make sure you stay to the end.
Had some wild things happen on that road.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
We've definitely experienced a handful of things just because we've always kind of been interested in that road, where we've always kind of just drove on it, and we've drove on it a lot of times where sometimes what I noticed is that they do not like when you drive on that road multiple times in a night. If you're just going back and forth, they don't like it. And they've actually turned off her car while we were driving and messed with her radio. So that's when we kind of noticed that.
Multiple different experiences, some separate, some together, just a lot of things. So if you guys want to hear literally everything,
then make sure you stick to the end. Okay, so we're gonna get started with what kind of happened on that road. What was it, 20 years after it was built? So there was a mansion on that road, and the owner, David Wolpert, I think I'm saying that right. And his wife, Catherine Henderson, owned a mansion on that road. Now, they were happy at first, and then he kind of went insane, and he built what is alleged the gates of hell. Now, he built it back then, and it was kind of where their entrance to their mansion was. So in November 28th, 1975, a fire took place in their mansion, unfortunately caught on fire. Now, it's alleged that he did burn down his house. He set it on fire with his wife and his 3 kids inside. They had 3 kids together, 2 daughters and 1 son, where we will not name them. Just out of respect, we just want to be respectful in that aspect. But yeah, he did burn it down because he did go insane, and he wasn't found after that. He ran away. He literally disappeared, which he probably is dead now. So he probably haunts that road too. Honestly,
people thought that he thought he was possessed, I guess. He literally thought he was possessed. So he thought, from what we've heard, that would, save his family if he...
From, him, yeah.
Yeah, from him. It was, I don't know, it's, it's, psychotic. And so we're kind of thinking maybe he was just old and he kind of, went a little cuckoo. Which is very, very sad. So that was an unfortunate event that happened. The gates of hell, kind of where it's located, it's said that if you walk in it, you get a heart attack, or you immediately die, or you just feel really weird and very gross and just eerie, And that is kind of located at the there's a stop sign. It's kind of when you're, if Riverdale High School, It's like there, take like a, was it like a, take a right? You take a right.
Yeah.
And then you go like down, there's like a stop sign, and there's like a gate, and it's like a no trespassing area. I think that's where the gates of hell are located.
Yeah.
And the river is where their old mansion was located, which is literally right there at that gate for the most part. There's also a lot of stories, a lot of sightings of people that are hanging on trees. A Camaro that supposedly a guy like died in his car, and he like haunts the road and drives like with his Camaro.
Oh, also, so this guy who was in the Camaro, he was driving on that road one night and he crashed and he died because this road is very windy and there's a lot of like blind curves and everything. So if you are going fast down that road and you don't know that road very well, then you can get into a crash. And so he did get into a crash and he died. It is alleged that he was like racing down the road. I don't know if he was like racing somebody or like what was going on there. But it is alleged that you can see him like at a specific time at night, and he will kind of like tail you and like get behind you and like try to race you so you crash, is what he's kind of doing there.
There's been a lot of like deaths like due to like the road and like the accidents, like the windy roads, and a lot of murders. A lot of people have gotten murdered on that road, from what we've heard. There are like ghost demon children. Is what they like to say.
That's what they call it. Demon children that will like that's kind of what people say, like that are hanging on the trees is like demon kids, just like demon ghosts hanging on the trees.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. When I was younger, I was told that the whole story behind that road was that a guy murdered his family but he hung them on the trees. That's what I was told when I was younger. I do feel like that this story does kind of get mixed around a lot. Because I feel like no one really knows exactly what happened,
And I remember like hearing about like the tree stump. Like the tree stump where like the tree got cut down where they hung the bodies, and you and I saw it.
Yeah.
Like once, like the stump. But I don't know. Yeah, the story is weird. The timelines are really weird. Like it says he was born in like 1850 something, and then supposedly the house got burnt down in like 1975. It's kind of like a weird like just I don't really think anyone like knows
like
what happened.
Exactly what happened
And the dates or anything.
Yeah. There was a confirmed fire though that did take place in that mansion though. But they don't know if like he necessarily started it but I honestly think that he did start it because of his whole like, oh, what if I'm possessed? I have to protect my family from myself, so let me just murder them, which sucks.
It's just crazy to think about though that like someone can actually do that to their family,
Yeah.
And there is like a lot of like dead hitchhikers that have gotten hit by cars, that just they're just dead, like they like haunt the roads. There's a jogger there too. He'll bang on your car, he'll tippity tap on your windows, and he will like shake your whole car. And there's been reported like handprints of like when the car gets pushed off, or like sometimes like when they make it out of that, there's like handprints on the car. That would be terrifying to see.
Yeah.
And sometimes he can sometimes he'll chase you and chase your car. Oh my boy, do we have experiences we cannot wait to tell you at the end of this.
And, a
lot.
We were thinking, maybe, he chases you and, shakes your car and, taps on and, bangs your car because maybe he thinks that you're the one who murdered him. You know, so, you know, I mean, you would be mad if, like, you were murdered, so, and you didn't know who it was, you know?
It's kind of like, I don't know, it's just weird, and we've had experiences, but we're waiting to get into that because it's at the end.
Just wait until the end. We're just going to tell the full story first, and then we'll tell you our experiences and other people's experiences at the end of this.
We've had a lot, so, like, just be, like, ready. Maybe grab some popcorn.
Yeah, grab some popcorn, grab some food, just sit down with us, just chill.
Maybe a burrito.
Just chill and, like,
relax.
Yep. While we dive into this.
Riverdale Road is very, like, eerie at night. You can feel the tension, like, the spirits, you just feel it. Like, their energy is so intense. Like, it's there. Like, they're there.
Especially at night, I feel like it's very, very eerie. You know, people say, like, for safety, like, to be careful, and they recommend that you don't, like, drive fast down it or, like, walk down it at night because there is a lot of, like, curves and, like, blind spots. So they do recommend that you just don't walk on the road at night and, like, don't drive fast at night on the road. So, like, a year and a half ago, I was driving on this road, and it was during the day, actually. And so, keep in mind, there are houses on this road, but it's more like on, like, a hill, like, not in the open wide where the mansion actually was. And so, I was driving down this road, and, you know, I saw a sign, and I was like, hold on, what does it say? Because I drove past it and I didn't get to read it. So I turned around and I come back. Well, there was writing on both sides. So I read the back of it.
Honestly, I think it was something like because, like, we were together when we saw these signs sometimes, and sometimes she just saw them on her own, or, like, we saw them on our own. It was more of, like, beware of, like, the demons, or beware of, like, the ghost. It was kind of just, like, warning signs. Like, I don't really remember exactly.
And one side of the sign, I specifically remember that it said, don't piss off the spirits. And there was this one guy on Reddit who, because after I saw this sign, I looked it up, and I was like, what the hell? So I looked it up, and I was like, okay, it's not only me that saw these signs. This guy on Reddit, and I will insert the picture, this guy on Reddit saw a sign too, but it said something different. It said, hitchhikers may be demons. And so that kind of takes it back to, like, what we were saying about, like, the hitchhikers on this road where, you know, sometimes you just don't want to pull over. Which I don't recommend taking, like, hitchhikers anyway. Just because I feel like it's not a good decision. It's kind of bad.
Yeah. They can muck duck you, you know, like Dwight Schrute said. That's why it's called murder, not muck duck. January 31st, 2021, there was a fatal crash. The person did sadly pass away at 12:10 a.m. in the morning. All of these deaths that we're going to mention to you happened at night. Nothing happened, like, during the day, really. And it is very sad. We will not be mentioning names.
We won't be mentioning names, just as a respect thing.
August 23rd of 2022 at around 10:50, another person died.
Yep. It was just one person that died in that crash. And then September 3rd, 2022, 3 people died in a single car crash too at 4 a.m. this time, which is kind of like around witching hour. Witching hour is 3 a.m., so it's like an hour after, which is a creepy hour.
And get this, the car rolled over.
Yeah.
Like, they're known to, like, spirits are known to push over the car. We're not saying that's, like, exactly what happened, but it's kind of like a coincidence. You know?
Yeah, it is. You know, they say. I wonder, honestly, I wonder if it's like the hitchhikers that haunt that road, where they're like, okay, you're going too fast, so I'm going to push you over and you're going to die. Like, that's kind of like what I'm thinking. Like, maybe it was just like the hitchhikers or the phantom jogger that haunts that road, the famous phantom jogger, which is one of the more commonly known stories on that road, along with like the mansion burning down.
So the weather was not a factor in any of these deaths. It was fine. The roads were fine. There was no snow. There was no rain. It was just regular like weather. You know?
And a lot of people died on this road, and it is kind of really sad because it's either they got hit by a car or because they were walking on the road, and there's not a sidewalk on the road.
No.
So they were probably actually walking like on the road or like right next to it, where they like got hit, or you know, it's been car accidents, and it is a really sad story. There are memorials on that road. We saw like a cross and some flowers under the bridge. There's a bridge on that road. I think it's the highway that goes over that road, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we seen that one like little memorial thing, and then there's a lot of like signs where it's like in memory of name, and then please drive safe. So it is very sad, and I did see a new sign put up actually that looks very new. So
Bless their family and everything. We're not, you know, that's why we don't share names, because it's very sad.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, you know, we wouldn't want our family's name being blasted in a video like this when they died tragically like that.
yeah.
There are a lot of upside down crosses too, like under that bridge. I have seen some myself when I was a lot younger.
Yeah, it's like more like on the bridge and like right under, but like carved into the bridge.
I've seen one like a whole cross just like in the ground.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, a lot of people just kind of like fuck around on that road, and it's like, you know, it is kind of disrespectful because a lot of people have died on that road, and you know, I don't like it.
I don't like it either. It's not. It's gross. Don't do that.
Now we're gonna talk about one specific death that occurred in 1987, and it is very sad. And you know, bless her family and bless her and everything. December 23rd, 1987 is when this tragedy happened. 2 days before her job at Circle K. She was taking home a male customer. And, you know, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, why would you do that? But then again, it was like the 80s, and that was kind of like normalized, you know, like teachers took kids home and all of that too. So, I mean, I guess like she didn't really know, you know. She was just a nice person.
And the car that she was driving was a 1978 Chevrolet Mazda. She was found in a field. 5 days after she vanished, her car was found in a ditch on 112th Avenue in Riverdale. It's kind of weird because she wasn't in her car.
Yeah, she was not in her car. February 14th, 1988, her body was found.
She was struck in the head with a blunt object.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, it was probably him.
It was.
Who else would it be?
I don't know
Cold case.
why this is a cold case, because why didn't they read into him? You know, you would think like
They would have the brains to do, like, he was the one with her, the
Yeah.
guy she was bringing home.
he's the last one to see her alive. So, it doesn't make sense. And her body was found on 89th Avenue in Riverdale, which I don't know how far away that is from each other. But yeah.
Now, getting into our stories.
Yeah, so this whole story of her kind of leads into our story. And this is why we wanted to mention her first. Because of our story that kind of connects to this. We think that it connects to this because it doesn't make sense in our eyes, where we're just like, what? What was actually going on,
We were on the road, actually, where, like, the ditch area that her car was found. We were on that road in specific at a light. It was like 3 a.m. We wanted to go down that road. We just always loved it because it was very interesting, very spooky. So, went down it. And there was a car that just came up behind us at the stoplight. And
yeah,
it was weird.
just kind
like
of
4 a.m.
appeared.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
And so,
Same car that was mentioned.
Yeah, it was that same car. Now, keep that in mind. Now, so I was like, we immediately got a weird feeling from this car. And so I was the one driving, and there was no one on this road, okay? And so I was like, I'm just going to do a U-turn. So I U-turned at that light. You can't U-turn at that light, but I did anyway because there was absolutely no one on that road.
She got out of her car, so we, made a turn for it.
Yeah, well, so when I U-turned, we pulled over. I don't know why we pulled over. It's like something forced us to pull over or something. I don't know. It was weird. So we pulled over and she started getting out of her car. Now we're thinking
she got
what?
Out of her car at the light too, though.
Yeah, at the light. Weird. The light was green
and
too.
She was like, "What are you? What? What?" And we're like, "Huh?"
What? Yeah, and we pulled over and everything, and she started getting out, all slowly too. She opens her door, and then she starts stepping out, and we see this, and we're like, "Oh fuck no!" Right. So we drive off, and then she gets back in all quick, and then she U-turns and starts following us. So we pulled over again. I think this was us being okay, what is this bitch?
Yeah.
So we pulled over again, and
which was stupid. We should have just kept driving.
Yeah, it was really stupid.
That's how people get mucked up.
Yeah. And so we pulled over again, and they pulled up next to us, and they rolled down their window. And so we were like, okay, let's roll down our window. And then they kind of how did they start?
She was like, I thought you guys were talking to me. That's why I got out of the car. And we're like, our windows were up.
Our windows were up. We, I don't even think we had music on.
No, we do not have our windows, we do not want to have our windows down on Riverdale Road at 4 a.m., okay?
Yeah.
No. Especially not at a stoplight.
Yeah.
No.
And it was just, it was super weird.
No, I didn't like. And not to mention, this, we might sound absolutely insane when we say this, okay? But she looked exactly like the woman in that cold case.
She did. And we did not know about this cold case before this happened. But after, when we were doing more research on Riverdale Road, we saw a cold case, and we decided to look into it, and we saw her picture, and we were like, she looks very familiar.
And we looked at the car.
But then she died in 1987, so we were like, there ain't no way we knew her. So where do we know her from? And we kind of connected it because we saw her car And we kind of connected it to that because that was the exact same car. And we looked up the car and everything, like an old Chevrolet Mazda, or however you say it.
Mazda or whatever, yeah.
And it literally looks exactly like that.
And we could, like, honestly just seem crazy. It could have just been a girl, like, a really weird, like, crazy girl. She had a guy, though, in the car with her. And he was kind of just all, like...
Yeah, he was kind of very, like, quiet and didn't talk. And,
But
like...
it's weird. They were planning something. If it wasn't a ghost, they were planning something.
Yeah. And literally, the whole time that we were talking with them, it seemed very off. Like, there was something off about that conversation. And, like, when they first pulled up, and they, like, asked us, like, if we know the story on this road, it was like she, like, turned her head, and she was like, do you guys know the story on this road? And she talked, like, very quiet and, like, slow, and, like, it was very weird. And she said that, and I was just like...
We're like, yeah, a lot of things have happened on this road.
Yeah.
And we kind of got into, like, a few things, and it was just weird. And then, like, she got out of the car. And she, like, came up to the window. I remember that. And, like, she was, like, talking to us. I don't know. Like, I just feel like if it wasn't a spirit, and if we're, like, really just, like, maybe are thinking all crazy, something, like, she was planning.
Something. Because no normal person does that. You know, especially on a...
Then you get out of your car.
And,
like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, at a stoplight, or, yeah, at a stoplight, thinking we said something that's, like, they were planning
and
something.
the light, it was green, too. Like...
I'm like, we don't know that.
Yeah. And the whole interaction was very weird. And it was just kind of like... We both, like, reflected after that. We were like...
Felt like a fever dream.
It did. It's like...
A fever dream.
It's like... It feels like it wasn't even, like, real. It's very...
But it
it's very
happened.
weird. Yeah.
You know?
It did happen.
That's so strange. And, it's just... I don't know. Like, we don't know... what the hell happened that night. We don't know why, what she wanted. She was a real person. I don't know. She probably, I mean, maybe she was, and we're just literally just cuckoo. But that's one of our stories.
Yeah, and plus, not to mention that when, you know, they said goodbye or whatever, they were like, be safe on this road. Like, that's exactly how she said it, too. And I was like, what the fuck? It's weird, you know? And then they drove off, and...
How the f*** did they even get to that other side? Are you thinking about that? Like, I'm thinking about that right now. How the f*** did they get to that other side? Like, there isn't even a way around. That takes, like, 10 minutes that way around. Yeah.
And it was super weird. So, they, like, drove off, and then we drove off again, and they were pulled over, too. On the side of the road. And we were like, why the fuck are they pulled over, you know? And they just kind of like wave at us. And I'm like, what in the hell? But then after we pass them, they get behind us again. And so I'm like, I'm pulling over. I don't care. I'm pulling over. They can go ahead of us. Because I don't trust it. And so they drive past us.
We had protection, not to mention, so maybe they saw that.
Yeah.
And didn't really want to mess with that.
And when they passed by us, I gave it like a minute, and then I pulled away. And literally, they were gone. Nowhere to be seen. And I do drive pretty fast down that road, and they were nowhere to be seen.
Not at all. Those bitches were out.
Yeah. And, like, not to mention, like, while we were talking to them, they were kind of like very faded.
Yeah.
Like their like whole person was just like very faded and like very pale and like faded, and it was just very weird. And like the way they talked and everything.
The way they dressed.
Yeah, it was just kind of, it
like
was
the
given.
80s.
Yeah, the car too, and like everything, and I'm just like,
maybe they just like that style, and they were like crazy people. Who knows?
yeah. If you're watching this and that was you,
and what the fuck?
let us know what you wanted.
Yeah,
Because I'm confused.
me too. Like, you were not just getting out of the car to. We thought you said something. Why would you physically get out of a car at a green light to see if someone said something? Were you really like that mad, or like on crack cocaine, or something?
What was happening? Like,
yeah, what was going on? That was like idiotic. Very idiotic. So, yeah. Let us know what the hell you were thinking inside that head of yours.
If that was a real person.
If it was, yeah.
If you guys are real people, let us know.
So, we also had this other time with a friend of ours. And, I was driving. It was like, 2 a.m. probably at that time.
Yeah, it was very late.
I think we were driving them back to their hotel. And, we were at like a stop. This is on Riverdale again, but like a little bit farther on Riverdale. And we were at a stoplight, and we were waiting for the light to turn green so we can turn. What was it? I think it was like left, so we can turn left. And suddenly, out of nowhere, this woman appears, and she's like dragging like to the side like this, and like she's like limping. And like to the side, and her hair like over her face.
It was really, really weird.
And like it looked like she had like, I don't even know, her outfit was definitely not like, it was like white tights and like black shoes, and it was weird. And like a tote bag or whatever like over her. She's limping.
And she was wearing like a black long dress with like white tights and like flats and everything.
So when we saw this woman, and like she was doing that, like literally just slumping to the side, like hair like over her face, everything. It looked terrifying. She started coming towards the fucking car. We honestly think it's a spirit, because our friend were like, do you see her? And they're all like, no, I don't see. We were the only ones that saw this woman, and she was like right there, like running.
Yeah.
And then
she was literally right there, and he was like, oh, what are you talking about? Literally making it sound psycho, and we both saw this woman, and we're like, what the fuck? You seriously don't see this?
And then we were going to like getting ready to turn, and when she saw us like see her, and how we were like getting ready to, I was gonna turn on the red light. She was getting closer. She was like running while walking like this to the car, like outside. And we were like, I was gonna turn to get the hell away, right? She started speeding up towards us, so we were like, nope, and we, like, I sped off, I turned on red light, and we dipped the out of there, because we were about to get mucked or whatever the hell was about to happen to us. And she just seemed like she was trying something, so, yeah. We are going to go on Riverdale Road, though, so if we get anything, then we'll show.
If we get anything, it might be at the end of the video, and like, or, you know.
We're going to do spirit box.
Yeah, we're going to do the spirit box and see if we get anything.
That's it, though. If you guys were here before, we deleted like all of our old videos. We probably aren't gonna do that right now for a while, until we like, you know, are able to get more information on these places, and just feel comfortable with it, because it does bring a lot of bad things into your life. So yeah, all right, bye bye. See you guys next time.